Hello! I actually feel so much embarrassment for the fact that I cannot put videos out on here consistently, but I actually just finished filming my video about social media consumption, which is just such a non-fun topic. Back in the flow of it, and every time I do it, I'm like, wow, this is so much fun. Now I wanted to film like a chatty, chill, let's hang out and catch up vlog. And I figured what better thing to do than clean while we hang out together, because I have some life updates. No, I don't. My life is a mess, but we won't know how it's going to go until the end of June. So I'm actually going to talk about nothing. It's just going to be about all the random things that I feel like chatting about and none of the real stuff. So sorry, why is anybody here? My house is a mess because when I film, I shove everything everywhere. Like, look at all of the chairs over here. And yeah, I'll take everything from the part that I'm filming and then just shove it over to the part that isn't on the camera. Also, I live in a basement, so it's always really dark, or, wait for it, it's really yellow. Huh? Which one's worse? We're gonna clean in the dark and then it won't look as messy either. So it's a double win. This is actually just gonna be way too revealing about myself. So first thing I wanted to chat about was the fact that I whacked all my hair off. I did it a bit impulsively, I will admit, but I have cut my hair several times before, so I felt very capable. The problem is that usually I would go from like really long hair to like still pretty long hair. So this time I was like, I hate my hair. I'd never do it, so it never looks good. And so I decided I was gonna do it. I clicked on my trusty old YouTube video that I use every single time. The problem is that it's for layered hair and I was just too stupid to like read the title of it. And again, it's not a problem if you're going from long hair to still kind of long hair. It looks really nice. Yeah, I wanted it to my shoulders, and so I did it, and it was the most perfect length. It laid exactly like how I wanted to for the back, but then it went all the way up here in the front, and I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. And so I tried to play around with it and I wasn't happy with it, so I just cut it off to here, which is both really exciting and I'm also very excited for it to grow out a little bit longer. I have not had my hair this short since I was like 8 years old, and when I had that haircut I promised myself I would never have it this short again. I don't truly hate it though. Like, it is pretty fun and it's really easy to maintain, and sometimes it actually looks really cute. It's just the times when I look at myself I'm like, so, no regrets, but I am excited for it to be shoulder length, which is where I wanted it to be. It's also making me want to go out and buy some like heating tools. Like, I don't know if a straightener or curling iron would be better. This is probably gonna be noisy. So that is the deal with my hair. And the other thing too is it probably would look a little bit nicer if I'd gone to a professional, but I don't know. I hate the idea of spending over $100 to cut my hair. I have issues. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the book that I'm reading right now. Okay, I told you this is gonna be really chatty and there is like no real point to this, but I don't know if you've had the pleasure of reading the author Barbara Kingsolver. She is like my new hero. I don't know, I read Poisonwood Bible, is one of my top favorite books now, and then I read Demon Copperhead, and sure enough, it's another one of my top favorite books now. Just the way that she writes and the way that she like transports you to this entirely different life that you knew nothing about is so fascinating to me. Like, I feel like it is educational on a very deep level, but then also it's a really fun read. So I loved those two books, and then I told myself I wasn't allowed to read this one. It has a terrible title. It's called Animal Vegetable Miracle. It is her personal story of how she moved from Arizona to the Appalachian Mountains, and she and her 2 kids and husband, they live off of local food for a year. And I told myself I wasn't allowed to read it because I tend to get very fanatical with things, and I knew that I was going to not want to buy any kind of factory food again, which it has done that. I'm gonna have to reconcile with myself what I'm allowed to do and what I would like to change in my life. Now my dream is I just want to own some land and have my own little farm, not farm, sorry, hobby garden, and some animals on the side. I don't know, because it was kind of interesting because I was reading along the book and then just like, yeah, this is the life I want, and this, like, she's doing everything right and all of this stuff, until she got to the line where she was saying, oh, we want to go on a family trip, a family vacation, but you can't just pick up and leave because you have animals that you have to feed every day, all this stuff. And then she said the line specifically that was like, it's like having another baby. And I was like, whoop, Not for me. I don't know where I'm at with that. Also, it's too dark in here. We're gonna go somewhere else. I clearly am very out of practice with vlogging. I feel like I suck at this now, but we had the most joyful time the other day. We went to the lake and we went paddleboarding, and the water was freezing cold. Like if you got your feet in it, it felt like they were going to go numb within a few minutes, but it just felt like the kickstart of summer, and it was so magical, and it just got me super excited for all the camping and hiking and everything that we want to do this summer. So we'll see how much actually gets done, just juggling life in general. It's also really weird because this is the last summer that we have before we have a child entering school. I don't know how that happened. Whenever you're in a phase of life, especially with young children, you feel like you're going to be in that forever. And so the fact that I can kind of like see a different life with him going to school, and then it's not gonna be too long before she's in school, and then it's like, what am I going to do? I'm having a real life crisis here. I actually need to sit down and do some reflective journaling because I don't know. I actually don't know what I want to do after, and I hate when people ask me that because I don't know. I made the mistake. It was not a mistake, but maybe the not wisest choice to start having kids when I was 25 years old, and I did not have any kind of set career before that. Like I just had the most random jobs. Yeah, like I have a bachelor's degree in something that isn't very doable, and that was also like 6 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know, it was too long ago. And now I have a lot of other things that I'm interested in and that I'm kind of thinking about doing. I don't know, I'm lost and I'm confused. And it's just such a tricky thing because I feel like I talk to a lot of women about this same topic and everybody's answer is different. Honestly, I feel like the best situation is when you get your schooling done and then you have a job, you work there for X amount of years, and then you have kids, and then you work very part-time when you have children and during their like super formative years, because then you can still have that to go back to after your kids are in school or grown or whatever, whenever you're ready to go back, because then it's just so much more financially secure. You don't have this problem that I'm having right now where I'm floundering trying to figure out who I am and what I want to do. You already have it set, and it just makes so much more sense. And I know that is so individual to every single person. Some women love going back to work full time at 6 weeks. That's great for them. Some women like to stay at home and they don't ever find a job, and that's great for them too. Like, do whatever works for you, obviously, but I'm just saying that's, I think, what I wish I would have done maybe, but I don't regret anything. What does that mean if I've just said in this video that I don't regret 2 things? Another thing, so yeah, like I did just talk about this, so I guess it's on my mind a lot, but that whole thing about how we all consume too much social media, I'm going to talk about it some more because I'm so into it. Because I don't even know how much I actually even talked about it on here or anywhere really. But last Christmas, my husband and I both did 2 weeks of completely no media, and it was life-changing. And we still don't consume media anymore, and it's just really tricky because it's like, well, you create content, why don't you consume it? How do you do that? What does that look like? And I guess the biggest thing for me is the fact that I'm super mindful about how I consume if I consume. And to me, creating and consuming content are 2 very different things. I find it very fun to come up with ideas and to script things and to plan a whole schedule out and to film it and to edit it and to put it out there. Like, that is a creative outlet for me and I really enjoy it. Consuming content, on the other hand, you're not creating anything, and in fact it's just creating a lot of noise in your head, and there's a lot of problems with that. My thing is that I want to have less than 20 minutes a day of consuming social media. My husband kind of just deleted everything because he doesn't really need to be on it. But since I do this as a thing, I don't even like calling it a job because I don't make any money from it. Because I do it, like, of course I do have to be connected at least a little bit. Like, I have to be able to answer some comments, some messages, and honestly I feel kind of guilty a lot of the times that I don't. Like, I don't answer all the comments, I don't answer all the messages, which sucks because I do have like some of the kindest, nicest, and most amazing people that follow me and everything, but I also value my time way too much, and if I could hire somebody to do that, that kind of defeats the purpose anyways, right? Like, you're watching and trying to talk to me, not to an assistant or something. I don't know. But all that rambling to say that getting off of social media was seriously the best thing that we've ever done. It has just improved our relationship with each other. It has improved my relationship with my children. It has improved my relationship with life in general. Like, I feel so much more creative. I feel so much more peaceful. I'm okay just sitting in silence with my own thoughts. I don't need the compulsion of pulling my phone out every single spare second. And it's not like consuming me that I'd rather be checking my comments and my messages instead of playing with my children that are in the same room as me. I no longer have these time voids where suddenly 2 hours are gone because I spent that time scrolling with my husband on the couch. Like, that's all gone. And I feel like it's so bizarre that we're having this conversation. I feel like I've been drugged almost for such a long time, where it's like I justified how I was living and acting and being like, oh, this is my job or whatever. But the way that I was living was embarrassing. I'm very embarrassed to look back and realize that I valued parasocial relationships and fake people online more than I did my children and my spouse and my friends. And you know, like, it's just, I don't know. I guess I just figured my priorities, and I want my life to look different than how it was before. And I feel like I've been making really good strides in that direction. Speaking of creativity though, I have been having so much fun recently trying to get into, it's a lot of like fiber art. I don't know why I just called it that. Is that even a name? I sewed my first thing following a pattern. You were very high up there. Fun fact, my house is super slanted on one side, so trying to get a straight shot is really fun. I sewed my first thing following an actual pattern, and I'm so excited. I have a bit of an issue with being really impatient, and I don't like reading the instructions that I have been given, and I don't know, I feel like there are perfectionists out there who would rather not do something because they're scared of messing it up. I'm kind of the opposite, where I just want to do it and I don't necessarily care how it turns out. I just want to just get stuck into it and get it done. So that's how these shorts went. I had a full video tutorial and a full PDF of step-by-step detailed instructions. Didn't really follow either of them. So there are a few issues with it. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm gonna wear these until they are dead. I'm proud of the fact that I made them, and I think they're pretty cute. Can I point out 3 major flaws in them? Absolutely. Yes, I can. So now I'm super excited to try to sew more things, and I will try to be more patient and to read through the instructions. This pattern is from Sydney Graham. Her handle is Hi Sid Graham, I think. And those are the shorts made from the Lane pants. And now I want to make the actual pants version of it. And then I also would love to try to self-draft a pattern for my daughter and son. I guess he would appreciate some shorts as well. I'd love to make some cute little outfits for them, especially with like scrap fabric that I can get from the thrift store or whatever. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And then also I'm just borrowing my friend's machine. Oh, it's done here. There it is. But it was also really fun. I had this huge mending pile that I kept meaning to get around to, but it's really hard to do that when you don't have your own machine. And so when I borrowed this one to finish my shorts, I was like, I'm gonna do all these other things. So I seriously mended like probably 10 things, and that was a lot of fun. The other thing I'm working on right now, I've mentioned this on my Instagram. I have this sweatshirt that I got from the thrift store a long time ago, and it's just really gray and really boring, and it doesn't even fit me quite right. I'm obsessed with the idea of doing things with your hands, even if it's not good. I just want something to do, and especially at night, like if we do choose to watch shows, which like again, I don't, even that media I don't want to do too much of, so it's like we don't just sit and watch shows all night long. But when we do watch shows, I want to be able to do something with my hands, and so I'm just going to like do all sorts of different things all over the sweater. And the first thing that I'm doing is a dung beetle, which I know they're not blue, but I wanted it to be blue. It's not done yet. This is a big ball of poop, and this is the dung beetle that's rolling it. And I'm just so excited to see how this turns out. My embroidering skills are very basic. They're not very good, and I only know a few stitches, but again, it's not about the end result, it's about the process. And I figure that I will get better as time goes on. My friend is also trying to convince me to get back into knitting. I tried to knit some socks and it went abysmally. Like it was so frustrating, and I could not do it. That was socks, and she herself, like she has more knitting experience than me, and she was like, that was a really hard pattern, even though it said like simple, beginner, all of the right tag words. She gave up on it as well, but she recently started doing a summer tank top, and she was like, this is massaging my brain, and it's so simple. And so now I'm kind of tempted to try that, but I don't want to buy more stuff for it if I can't actually make a finished product. So undecided about that one. I don't know, I'm a little nervous to jump into that. I also have been like really obsessed with this idea lately of our generation has actively unlearned a lot of things. Like, I don't know, with knitting, with sewing, with embroidering and mending things, and like all of these different things. I feel like those were just normal things that our grandparents or our parents, like our mothers, should have taught us to do. Like those are the things that we should be learning when we're like 8 years old, and when you're really receptive to learning new things, especially, I don't know, like knitting is not super easy. Like yes, the simple knits are, but like learning how to do a whole pattern and doing all these different kinds of knit structures and everything, like, or sewing, for example. Sewing, I'm not explaining myself very well. Sewing on its own is fairly simple, but what happens when the machine goes wrong? Because that is one of the most frustrating things to me. If the tension is off and I switch the dial and it doesn't fix it, I have to like sit there and look up all of these YouTube videos on how to fix it, when I feel like that is just something that you would know if your grandma had been teaching you how to sew when you were 6 years old or whatever. And then, I don't know, like I was sitting there sewing these shorts with my good friend, and it was just we had so many YouTube videos up trying to figure out everything, even down to like knowing the grain of the fabric and which way you're supposed to sew it. This is just stuff that you were you were supposed to learn from somebody just being like, oh, you have to make sure about this, instead of as a 30-year-old adult trying to watch all of these different videos from all of these different sources to try to figure out how to do the most basic of things about it. Because yeah, I'm at the point in life now where I just want to sit down and be able to do it as a form of relaxation and meditation. But unfortunately, a lot of these hobbies, I'm now at the stage where I'm needing to learn how to do them. And it's not what I want. Like, I don't want to learn how to knit, I just want to knit. Maybe that makes me selfish and entitled, thinking that I should be able to have all these skills that I don't have. Do you like the amount of cleaning that I'm doing right now? I feel like I should have a bucket of green beans that I'm shelling or something. I kind of don't have anything to do. I guess this is just going to be a big pile of all of the random thoughts that I've been having in my head. Another thing that I've been super excited about is the garden in the backyard. It's not even, I can't even claim it to be my own. We live in the basement. Our landlord and friend and neighbor lives above us, and so it is their house and it's their backyard and it's her garden, but she does amazing gardening work. But she is also incredibly kind, and she like gave us some spots and she lets us pick whatever we want to plant in the garden. So it's just like starting to pop off back there, and pretty soon we're going to be swimming in snow peas and not tomatoes yet, but snow peas, raspberries, blueberries, and then later it'll be cucumbers and tomatoes, and it's just gonna be so good, and I'm so excited. There's like nothing better in the world than fresh picked food. I love it so much. But yeah, because of my silly book that I'm reading that I'm becoming obsessed with, I also want to try to eat a lot more locally, because she just goes really in depth on eating locally and not only the benefits of it, but the harm that comes from factory farming, not only for the animals, but also for the plants. Like, it's incredibly destructive how we grow our food, and it's bad for the environment and it's bad for our health. And there are better solutions out there. It's just that is what gets subsidized by the government. And so that is what the majority of our food comes from. I think that there are other ways to feed people, and I think that that has been done for a very long time, and if you look at other countries, that is how it is done in other places as well. But yeah, I'm becoming super obsessed with eating seasonally, eating as locally as possible, and then not only because it has so much better flavor, but it's so much better for the environment, and it has so much more nutritional value. Like a freshly picked tomato from your area grown in real soil that isn't just a monoculture in the same dirt over and over and over again, just so superior in every single way. And we have access to that. Like, we have farmers markets that we can go to. There are just so many resources around that if you dive around, you will find them. Anyways, I don't know what this video was. It was supposed to be me cleaning, but I apparently just needed a friend to talk to, so thank you for being here. I'm probably going to end it here before I start rambling into other areas that I probably shouldn't get into. It's so bizarre because I feel like on Instagram you're only supposed to really talk about the same subjects over and over again because that's your niche and whatever, which I've always been really bad about. But I feel like on here it's just, you can be so much more broader of a person, and it's just a lot of fun. So thanks for being here, and hopefully I'm not even gonna say it. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.